Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mary Minty and welcome back to my ASMR roleplay of Oblivion. Last time we left off, Hadrasil had helped the useless mage, sorry I lost my words there for a second, had helped the useless mage return from the zombie infested cave, which most probably was his own doing, but the Mages Guild had to send in a professional, aka Hadrasil here himself, who was not overly impressed by the fact his recommendation was literally to be yet another pawn for the Mages Guild to abuse. However, he completed that quest quite nicely, and after having done so and dealing with the arrogant / ignorant mages, he decided it was time for bed and a nice rest. And it is now exactly 7 or 7:30. Sorry about that. And he's woken up fresh, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and of course it is raining. Which is quite unfortunate, but the rain will not stop him. He's going to suit up and boot up, as they say, and will now head off from Skingrad. Although there's probably more that this town could provide, he is quite eager to get his recommendations, so he's decided he will do it like this. If you excuse me for 2 seconds. Let's have a little drink there. So he has decided to go from Skingrad. Oh dear, my voice. I'll just cut that out there. Sorry, I had to quickly clear my throat. He has decided that he will be going from Skingrad up the Gold Road to here, and then he will travel down towards the Green Road to the Larcius River, where he will go to Breville. He will then continue on from Breville through the County Bravis, down towards the town of Leowin, or the city of Leowin. Then travel back up through the county of Leowin, near the Niben. I cannot actually pronounce that, I'm not quite sure what that says, but something the Niben. Past Silverfish River, through Cabert, I believe that says, along the Yellow Road, then travel upwards along the Blue Road to Chadenhall, and he's then going to backtrack. Oh, what's that there? Hammer Mill, I'm not quite sure what that is. Seems to be on his map though, so it must be important. Perhaps once we get to Chadenhall we'll have a little peek. In actual fact, instead of travelling back, we could go to Hammer Mill, through County Chadenhall. We could go along this road here, up round here to Bruma, then come out of the mountain. We're coming down here along the Orange Road and to Coral, then along the Black Road and into the Imperial City, by which point he will have gained his Arcane University recommendation. Now of course this journey will take, he supposes, quite a few months. He's not exactly expecting it to be short. It's going to be quite a long journey, but he is very well prepared for it. Now, in terms of foods, I think we're doing okay. We're going to have an apple, of course, for our breakfast, but we have a few things we'll be able to cook on the long road. But Hadrasil's quite ready, quite pumped to get back out there into the wilderness and continue on with his quest, as it were, or his adventure, should I say. In terms of the Glarfir fellow, he's decided to completely ignore that for the time being. The rather odd little wood elf will still be here, no doubt. And of course we had the stern warning from the wall of the hotel, which actually turned out to be the captain of the Skingrad Guard. I suppose he likes to talk through walls for some reason. It's rather concerning. Hopefully that's the only activity he likes to do through walls. But he decided to take on board the captain's advice and just completely ignore this Glarfir fellow, at least for the time being. He he has more pressing matters to attend to. There's no need to be getting all caught up in some guard's little, I don't know, issue with one of his civilians. I'm not quite sure what you'd call them, but or locals. Let's have a little path there that seems to be going offwards into the West Weald. It seems a bit early to be side-tracking, but Hadrasil can't turn away a little bit of a little adventure in the morning rain as the droplets land upon his cheeks and run down to his chin to drop off into the soft, crunchy earth beneath. We seem to have a set of wooden steps here, so an alien ruin by the looks of things. You'll have to excuse my camera work today. I basically bought a new mouse, an ergonomic one, and I'm sure many of you know ergonomic mice basically have your hand in a more vertical position, so in theory it should put less strain on your wrist. Whether it's scientifically proven or not, I'm not sure. Probably is by this point, I imagine. But it's a little bit hard to get used to. So I'm just trying to get used to that. I've never really used an ergonomic mouse before, so it's my first time. Seems as though we've come across an alien ruin. The path ends here, so perhaps that's where it degraded over time, but nonetheless it's rather beautiful. And, we've come across a nice bridge, which hopefully won't make the game crash. I think this is part of unique landscapes, and I have read and heard of certain spots in the land of Cyrodiil making the game crash, but nonetheless it's very pretty. All of this water running off just in front of the bridge. There's a little nook there for water and another fountain. But it looks another. Why have I forgotten the name? I've actually forgotten the name now. Running water, I shall call it, because I've literally forgotten what it's called. What do we have here? We said lady's smock, and we have some columbine. So some different plants out here in the West Weald. Some nice ones nonetheless. Hadrasil doesn't particularly want to get too wet, so we're going to do what most children do and play the stepping stone game. Jump over them. Now, as with any alien ruin, he's not expecting this to be a quiet endeavour. But nonetheless a very pretty one, that's for sure. I'm going to do a quick safety save now. A little bit early on in the roleplay to be doing so, but nonetheless. Dragon's tongue plant, that's rather lucky. They are certainly widespread in this game. You only seem to come across a couple after quite a vast distance. Not quite sure. I just still can't quite gather who this is of. Some sort of bird, perhaps the aliens worshipped? Or perhaps one of the dangerous disguises, who knows? So it seems as though we found the door to Ceylon. Now, this will be our second alien ruin. The door is held shut by powerful magical force and will not open. Should we try once more? No, that's definitely locked. Interesting. So that's one to mark down on the map, which we'll do so right now. And of course it was already marked down, but for roleplay purposes I felt it should seem as though Hadrasil marked it down himself. If we quickly take a look at the map, we could probably cut across here. Hadrasil would prefer to follow the main road, it's simpler. There's less chance of running into far worse in the wildlands than highwaymen who can't even use a sword or steal anything, but I'm sure this once won't hurt anyone, namely Hadrasil, of course. Picked up some columbine root pulp there. Now, actually, I think next time we reach the next city, should I say, Hadrasil's going to have a nice sit down in his hotel room. He's going to get out all of his alchemical equipment. He's going to make a few potions. Not only will some of them be useful to him, but he can empty his backpack, shall we say, or his sack or knapsack. I'm not quite sure what he has to hold all of his inventory, but should get rid of a lot of the ingredients he's collected so far before they spoil. And he could also sell a few as well, not just for his use, but he could sell some for some extra gold, which would push him a little bit closer towards his goal of getting somewhere. Seems as though we've come across a ruin, a castle ruin here, possibly an imperial castle or a fort that was no longer necessary, perhaps. And that's one thing I'm a little bit disappointed in when it comes to Oblivion, is that it's nice that we have a lot of ruins, but it would have been nice if they'd have kept a few actually workable, a few forts that actually were being used by the Imperials. But I suppose in this point in time in Cyrodiil there is no need for forts anymore. Perhaps they're enjoying a nice, long-lasting peace. So it seems as though we have some dogs, which we shall hopefully allow our scamp to defeat. Oh no, they're wolves. Well, we can make short work of the wolves. Or one of them. Interesting. Seems as though we have... Okay, I think we've been spotted, perhaps. No, not yet. Perhaps we can sneak up on them.
Just my eyes playing tricks on me.
Can't. No, they've spotted us. And they've gone invisible. Now's not the time for treasure, Hadrasil. Now's not the time. Oh, there they are. Oh, a vampire. And she's healed herself. She's wielding a large bone. Very odd. A femur club. That's rather disturbing. Perhaps one of her unfortunate victims. And we're going to steal her greaves and her equipment. And we're going to swap out ours for hers simply because, as I said, or perhaps I didn't mention earlier, Hadrasil was a little bit stingy, so anywhere he can save money he will. If that means taking armour that's exactly the same as his but in better condition, then of course he's going to do so. A repair hammer there, some weak potions of healing. So we've come across a vampire lair. Hadrasil hasn't much experience with vampires, but he's certainly heard enough about them. But that one went down quite easily, so hopefully the rest will. That is, if there are any more. Perhaps that was just a straggler. They certainly do like their wolves though, don't they? Seems as though they're training them. Come on, scamp. You're better than this. Dearie me. What kind of scamps is Hadrasil summoning from the Daedric realm now? The first few were quite good, but these ones seem to be a little bit lacklustre, to say the least. So it seems as though this place has certainly been abandoned for quite some time, which might be why it was the perfect place for the vampires. They even seem to have conjured up a few skeleton guards to protect them, perhaps while they sleep during the day. Which may be why they're training the wolves in actual fact. It's either that or perhaps the vampires have some sort of connection to perhaps wild creatures or something of that, or other undead, who knows. Perhaps they have a pact, although I don't particularly think an animated skeleton is capable of making pacts, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Could be an enchanted skeleton, but it could also be perhaps a dead Imperial soldier who's angry at the Empire and as such has unfinished business. Maybe all of these animated skeletons start off as the zombies and eventually their flesh completely deteriorates and they turn into the animated skeletons. It's at least a theory. Seems as though we have a vampire crusader who's certainly more prepared, that's for sure. Ah, but they are weak to fire, of course, which I forgot. And Hadrasil was gifted that spell by head of the Mages Guild in Singrad. I keep calling it Singrad. I suppose it really is, isn't it? Oh dear, so we don't have any replenish magicka spells, which is quite unfortunate. There's nothing else of interest for us there. Stealth isn't really Hadrasil's game, so he's obviously not very good at it. Whoa, hello. Shadow Banish wine. A Verniable vintage, quest added. I've come across a bottle of wine with markings I've never seen before. I can barely make out Shadow Banish wine on the label. It must be quite valuable. I should hold on to it and find out more. Okay. So we have some rather well-aged wine. Oh, that's a hard lock. Not quite sure Hadrasil's ready for a hard lock. Seems to be a stone bed in there though. Perhaps that's where the vampires keep their I hate to say it, their blood banks, by which I mean poor Cyrodiilians they managed to capture. Now, by the looks of things, we are looking at what's this? I've contracted porphyric haemophilia. What on earth is that? Vampire Scout, interesting. Well, she certainly was of no difficulty. It's a very slow spurt of words there. I think I was getting a little bit lost. Caught up in my thoughts. So is that it? What was she guarding? Her coffin. Not a very particularly interesting coffin though. That seems to be it though. Interesting. There seems to be an exit here, which I can't exactly see. So is it a hidden exit, perhaps? Are we missing something here? Is there a lever we should be pulling? Don't quite know, but anyway, I noticed that it said we contracted something. Porphyric haemophilia. There it is. Disease. Which is interesting because Hadrasil isn't... because he's a chimer, they do have a resistance to disease, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 50%. So that Vampire Scout's quite lucky, to say the least. Luckily, we have a potion of cure disease, and that should have... Oh dear. That's not good. The potion of cure disease didn't work, which is slightly unnerving, but perhaps it just needs a little bit of time. Perhaps that's all it needs. Although Hadrasil's a little bit worried now. Damn it, he's going to give it a go. He's going to give the hard lock a go, see if he can pull this off. Not the best of starts. Not the best of starts at all, but oh dear, not the best of starts at all. There's a little bit of a knack to these lock-picking games. Oh, that's what I always worry about. You only have to sod up one lock and you're buggered. Perhaps if we do it in an odd order. Okay, so it's every second one? Oh, okay. So unfortunately, mispronouncing things again. We wasted all of our lockpicks there, which I suppose can't be helped. It was a hard lock, and in reality, it probably goes quite well with Hadrasil, who isn't really accustomed to picking locks anyway. There does seem to be another path I don't believe we've taken over here, which let's have a little look down. Oh, my word, we have some, so here, I see. Okay, so this is the area that looks over. This probably would have been better to find this first. I didn't actually notice those poor people hanging up there. Looks as though that vampire scout was rather brutal. Or in fact, all of the vampires nonetheless. Somehow managing to twist my tongue with very simple words. Okay, so not the most fulfilling delve into the depths, and unfortunately Hadrasil's a little concerned about this porphyric haemophilia. Of course, he doesn't exactly know he has that, but he is feeling a little bit off. He feels as though he has been given something, or he's contracted something in there. I could already feel it under his skin. It's a sort of itching sensation. But with any luck, he did drink the potion of cure disease, which he found. Can't particularly remember where, but he's banking on that perhaps needing a bit of time to take effect, and then maybe he'll be as good as new by then. But we'll have to wait and see. But with any luck, that will be the case. Back on the road, perfect, just where we want to be. And wouldn't you know it, we're being attacked again. This time by an imp. In fact, 2 imps. And a wolf. Seems as though all of nature is teaming up on poor Hadrasil here. You are very unkind, aren't you? Still have one more. And a rat. God, they're all over the place. Oh, you have ascended to level 3. You realise that you are catching on to the secret of success. It's just a matter of concentration. So perfect. We've now gone up another level, and it seems as though we have more variety in what we put points into in terms of our attributes. So we're definitely going to put some into strength, intelligence, of course, and most probably willpower. Although personality does govern over illusion, but I think Hadrasil does say that he has used illusion a bit more. I suppose it's only right to put it into personality simply because Hadrasil's used it more. Thus he would have increased his skill in that over the others. So after our little battle there, it seems, we've come across yet another place, a cave. And of course it'd be rude not to inspect it. Not going to save over that one. We're going to go straight in. So I think it said Hallenwood. So where are we? Green Mead Cave. Okay. Just a little water break. So let's put the lights on so we know where we're going. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of magicka. Neither do we have any magicka potions, so... well, as long as it's something like rats, Hadrasil isn't too concerned. Little bugger. Didn't give me time to prepare my spell. Oh well, nonetheless he has been vanquished. Oh, a chest. We'll leave the steel shield. Once again, that's heavy armour, which Hadrasil does not dabble in, so there's no need to pick it up. Seems as though we have some imps. Oh, and they've already spotted us. The little buggers. Go on, Scamp, you can do it. Seems to be giving him a little bit of trouble. It won't be long until he's gone, unfortunately. And we've lost him. Well, Hadrasil will have to finish them off. Yep. This little guy. Just absorb him. Oh, okay. Cannot do so anymore. Perfect. They're quite little pests. They're not exactly difficult to defeat, but they are very pesky. Doesn't seem to be any... well, we're okay on an easy chest because we have... I think I took it off actually. I think I unhotkeyed it. So we're going to have to manually put it on. But, pearl, perfect. We could sell that for quite a bit of money, so that's good. Some more gold. That's exactly what Hadrasil likes to hear. And I believe there was another pathway. Here we go. So the cave is not over yet. That is very hard to see in here. Oh, we have another easy chest. A measly 6 gold. Wasn't really worth the magicka, but... See, we have an unlocked chest here with weak potion of weariness, a bronze amulet, and a flawed ruby. So why on earth was that one locked and that one wasn't? Hadrasil will never know. Whoever placed those chests there wasn't exactly very intelligent. So, everything seems a little too quiet, a little eerie. Doesn't seem to be many creatures here, but there's certainly a nice... Whoa, okay, I was wrong. We have an imp. Who is certainly intent on killing us. However, he is no match for the great Hadrasil. I thought there was a door there for a second. I'm seeing things. Well, whatever else is in this cave, it probably won't pose much of a threat or a risk to Hadrasil. So far it's been rather meek little creatures. Or minor. But we do have another imp, so hopefully our scamp can finish him off. Or we will. Hadrasil's not very impressed with these scamps. They were good at first, but now they're becoming rather tiresome. They don't seem to manage to land their attacks most of the time. Oh, another little rat. We have quite an array of plants here. Some motherwort, some monkshood, some viper bugloss, or bugloss. Quite sure how you pronounce that. Monkshood. We'll take a few more. We don't want to take absolutely every single one, because we'll end up being over encumbered. But it's a nice little chest here. Another easy lock. I suppose I really should have left this on lockpick, on hotkey. A measly 9 gold. All that waste of magicka. Hello, wooden door to green mead soggy hollow. Lovely name. I don't suppose we need to save right now, should be fine. So far this cave hasn't exactly thrown anything difficult at us. So this seems like quite a large area. We have another chest. Oh, and a petty soul gem, fantastic. Topaz. Let's do a little bit of healing while we're here. While we still have some magicka to use, although I suppose we should probably be saving that to conjure our scamp, but healing is just as important, and we have a hidden imp. I don't suppose pulling up his shield is actually doing anything for him, dear Hadrasil. It's not a magic shield, although I do believe, out of character, I do believe there is a shield that actually aids in defending against magicka. Can't for the life of me remember where it comes from or how you acquire it, but I do remember Oblivion having that sort of shield, unless I'm thinking of Skyrim. Oh, that was a terrible aim, Hadrasil. Utterly atrocious aim. A sack, interesting. So someone went to an awful lot of effort to put these chests here and sort of disperse them about the cave. What's down there? It's odd, a sort of underground reservoir of water, or perhaps a lake? Have anything of interest up here? Nope. No more chests. Hopefully with more gold than 6 pieces. No, this seems to be a peek in the map. I'm sure that's that's not too bad of me. So we have another door there which leads to Greenmead Soggy Hollow. It looks as though we've missed a pathway back up here, so we'll head back this way. For a very eerie cave, it doesn't actually hold many dangers. Perhaps that's only because Hadrasil isn't too fazed by imps. I mean, they are still magical creatures. I'm sure to others they might be difficult to deal with, but Hadrasil certainly doesn't find them too difficult to destroy. At least when he lands his fireballs. There seems to be a dead end by the looks of things. There you are, I'll pick up your imp gall. Is there any, yeah, we have a weak potion of sorcery, that's good. We've been looking for one of those. Not necessarily to use in this cave, but when times get tough, we certainly need it. So it seems as though Hadrasil has scoured out most of the cave. The only unfortunate way to go now is into that reservoir, which he isn't overly fond of doing, but if it means finding anything that's eluding him, it will be worth it. So what do we have here? This is probably where that potion of water breathing would have come in handy. Oh, hello, we have a scoop in. Should probably head back up. Catch our breath. It's not a very nice scoop in. Is there something here that I'm not seeing? Ah! Seems as though that fish is rather angry at us. Yep, he is certainly not a nice fish, that's for sure. I saw a chest. Ah, there you are. Oh dear, that fish is doing quite a lot of damage. That we best drink some health potion before we end up dying. Okay. So this fish wants to play hardball, does he? Well, Hadrasil's game. He's rather difficult, that's for sure. It's probably the toughest enemy he's had to face. Oh dear. He's certainly not pulling his punches. What should we use? We do have a weak potion of wariness. almost there now. Not long. Defeated. That was quite something. That fish put more of a fight up than any of the highwaymen that Hadrasil's had to deal with so far. Which sort of shows them up, really. So what do we have? We have a gold and speechcraft green brocade of something. Oh dear. Oh. That was close. Is there anything else we can make out down here, or was that the only chest? I believe that was all, but certainly guarded by a very strong treasure guardian nonetheless. Hadrasil felt he'd met his match there for a second. If it wasn't for his quick use of potions and magicka, he probably wouldn't have survived against that fish. Simple imp, very easy to defeat. Seems as though he was having fish for supper. I really do hope that hasn't just shown up on the screen. I seem to have a pop-up, just appeared out of nowhere. It's rather frustrating, that hopefully won't remain. Although it certainly doesn't seem to be going anytime soon, that's a little annoying. Can I get rid of that by any chance? Doesn't seem as though I can. Hopefully that is not coming up on the screen right now. Don't suppose it is. I don't particularly want to pause the recording to find out. I'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. I'm not quite sure if it did show up. Hopefully it didn't. If it did, I do apologise. It was only up for a couple of seconds, luckily, so that's nice to know at least. But I just double checked and quickly cancelled out the game just to see. But it seems as though I don't think it did get stuck in the recording, but it was getting on my nerves, that's for sure. Stupid pop-up ads. Anyway, so these plants certainly do have a lovely glow within this cave. Seems as though it's their natural glow by the looks of things. But anyway, now that we have defeated the evil fish, can't remember what it was called now, we can finally escape this dank, dreary cave. Oh, we have a rat. Hadrasil. Oh, dagger of sparks. Hello there. That could come in handy. So it's not as strong as Wit Split or Wit Splinter, but it's an enchanted weapon nonetheless, which should, with any luck, attain quite a high value. My, this cave's never ending, isn't it? Doesn't seem to be stopping. Okay, definitely did see me there. Oh no, do we have another one? Yep, we certainly do. Luckily, imps are made short work with Hadrasil's growing dagger abilities. Unfortunately, it seems the only way... Oh no, here we go. Yes, the only way out of here seems to be by swimming, which is most unfortunate. I seem to have found an undercover waterfall, or an underground waterfall here. Oh no. Okay, I'm not quite sure if that bearded fish is evil, but we certainly don't want to get on his bad side. This seems to be, if I had fallen down earlier, this is where I would have ended up, so how exactly do we get through here? Hello, where did you come from? Now we have mud crabs. This place is all full of all sorts of wildlife. Feel a bit mean killing the mud crabs, but they kind of were in my way, so... we almost lost that chest. Could have walked... Oh dear. There's another sculper in. Or sculpin. Yep, and we've aroused him. Or should I say we've roused him, not aroused him. That's most certainly not what Hadrasil was trying to do. That was a poor choice of words there. Oh good God. Oh my word. As if we didn't have... No, no, don't attack it. Oh good God. Wait, did that imp... Did the imp kill the giant mud crab? That's disappointing. Hadrasil's looking forward to a little fight with a giant crab. He's rather large though, isn't he? Whew. Must have grown up in these caves and ended up getting stuck due to his rather large size, bless him. Unfortunately, the imp sort of stole our fun by killing him, which must have meant he wasn't exactly a difficult foe. Still a bit disappointing, but now Hadrasil wants to go on a rampage against the imps, simply for taking away his chance to defeat the giant mud crab of Greensmead Cave. I suppose nobody knows that he didn't defeat him. It could still be a very good bedtime story in the future, or perhaps a story in the local inn, surrounded by bottles of mead and wine. Hadrasil thinks it's still workable. Nobody will ever know. He's killed the only witnesses, which were the imps, which can't even speak. So, hello. Oh, no, it's a skull. For a minute there I thought it was some sort of glowing orb. But nope, it was just a regular old skull. So for 1 gold, it's fantastic. So where on earth do we go? This cave seems... Ah, hello. Potion of cure paralysis, potion of health, absorb health tome, 9 gold and a silver nugget. Well, well, well. So we have our first tome, I believe. No, we have absorb strength. I didn't even realise we picked this up. So we'll certainly do that. And we also have absorb health. Absorb health, 5 points on touch. Ah, fantastic. So what's the difference between that and the drain that we have? Oh, we already have absorb health. So that isn't exactly anything new to us. I should have really realised that, but that's me being a little bit empty-headed. Okay, so how do we get out of here? So it seems we've hit a dead end. I generally thought this was the way out, but I suppose suppose Hadrasil's got to backtrack now. This cave is most perplexing, that's for sure. Oh, and this is the part of the water with the sculper in. Certainly want to avoid that one, that's for sure. So here's the other cave we were in. The only problem is we... did we check over here? Yes, we did. The only issue is we had already jumped down. There wasn't another way up from what I could see. Unless I'm mistaken. So there's the sculpering. And there's... climb route. Well, that's interesting. Very clever. I like that. So after a struggle for a minute, Hadrasil managed to wrap his hands round the slippery root that was descending from the roof of the Greenmead soggy hollow. Strenuously he fought to climb up, one hand at a time, but slowly but surely he inched closer and closer to the edge of the rock, managing to dig his fingernails into a crevice that had been carved out over the years of water abrasion, and slowly, with much effort, he pulled his body weight too, swung his leg over the rock, and climbed back up to safety. I felt as though I needed to give that a sort of heroic sort of story of Hadrasil climbing his way back out. I didn't actually know that was there. I really like that. That's fantastic. That must be added in by one of the mod makers. Definitely 5 gold stars for that, man. Very, very well designed. It's a shame there isn't more little quirks like that. Well, it seems as though we have defeated everything in this cave. If any vampires wanted to move in, they certainly could now, that's for sure. But now we have to find our way back out. Hopefully it will be quite simple now and not hectic. But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. So a couple of wisp stalks here. I think we'll take some more. Might not come across any time soon. So they may be of worth for an alchemical potion, hopefully. But we'll have to wait and see. So this is the way out. We'll say that Hadrasil left himself a little breadcrumb trail, and that's how he knows which way to go. Even though, of course, I'm cheating by using the map for this area. But I've managed to make a wrong turn despite using the map. There we go. Hadrasil will be glad to see the back of this dank cave now. It's a little wet, and it's still raining, and my word, it is extremely late at night. So he's going to follow the road now, and with any luck, I'm just going to do a little safety save here, just for good measure. With any luck, he'll come across an inn soon enough. There must be an inn along the Gold Road here. Be the perfect location to have one. Allow travellers to get out of the cold weather, away from the evil wolves. Just going to let our scamp finish off that wolf. There's no need for us to stay. He's got that covered. The path sort of split off there, so Hadrasil's hoping he has taken the right path. He literally did take the right path, but he is hoping he has taken the right path and there's an inn. Usually there's an inn across along these roads for weary travellers. Seems as though we have an alien ruin there, but this time of night Hadrasil's rather tired. It's been quite a long day. He's really looking forward to a nice warm fire, lovely bit of alcohol, and who on earth that's not the first time we've seen that fellow. Shame he didn't stop. We could have asked him if he knew the way to an inn. And it's raining again. Fantastic. Just what Hadrasil was hoping for. Seems as though there isn't an inn anywhere nearby, which is rather frustrating. Does there be any inn whatsoever? Come on, there must be one somewhere. We have some signs, That is into the Imperial City, and Leowin, Breville, and Vilkvatch. Well, Breville was the way that Hadrasil was going, but he was really hoping at this point to find an inn. He's still convinced there is one somewhere along here, so he's going to take a chance and keep moving. Keep on heading to Breville. If anything, he'll arrive at Breville extremely tired, but he'll arrive nonetheless. However, this time of night there are certain dangers lurking about on the roads of Cyrodiil. Seems though we've come across another nice alien well which we're going to draw power from, and hopefully that is another Magica fortifier. Is it? Yep, it's a lesser power fortifying Magica. If I'm not mistaken, those wells replenish, so you can use them more than once. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. What are you
can
doing
I do
out
for
here?
you?
Well, I was wondering what you were doing out here this time of night in this dreary weather. Do you have any rumours, or do you know of any rumours?
They say when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep. It's how they recruit new members.
Is it? Is it now? Interesting. Well, seems to be a rather quiet night, and you're on the road alone, Aja. Now, of course, right now you're all probably thinking, is Hadrasil really thinking about murdering this poor innocent woman to gain entry into the Dark Brotherhood? Well, he is partly thinking about it. In fact, he's really considering it right now. Simply because the Dark Brotherhood do operate under dark practices. Of course, it's in the name. And the data are dark. So he is quite intrigued by joining the Dark Brotherhood. However, Age is quite lucky. He's currently more interested in gaining entry into the Arcane University, and not only that, there'll be plenty of opportunities to murder people when he dabbles in his necromancy. Once he finds the necromancers, that is. So for the time being, dear Aja is quite lucky. She's escaped with her life. She didn't know that, but she certainly did. Ah, we have another alien ruin here. Which, Vin Dazzle. Quite close to Vin Diesel, really, isn't it? It's, he's marked it on his map for now. Hadrasil's obviously not particularly in the mood to be entering an alien ruin at this time of night. He's quite focused on finding an inn. Unfortunately, it looks like bandits are not going to make it easy. A bandit bowman, a wood elf, no less. Seems as though our scamp was... Okay, we have a wild scamp here. Interesting. It's a lot smaller than our one. Stunted scamp. Well, he certainly didn't put up much of a fight. It's a bit weird to find a Daedric creature walking across the plains of Cyrodiil. Very odd indeed. Perhaps it was a conjurer's scamp. It could be that Hadrasil hasn't bothered to check whether there was a conjurer to off, but oh well, at the Archaeology Guild. Well, hopefully they're nearby. Hadrasil's not exactly interested in archaeology, but could mean a warm bed for the night. Aha! You found the Archaeology Guild. Interesting. Let's hope someone's inside. As usual, the old long loading screen. Oh, it's lovely and warm. Do you happen to have a fire by any chance? Sorry, my apologies. Hello there.
It's always a pleasure to meet you.
You don't know me, but hello there. Who are you?
Welcome to the Archaeology Guild. My name is Steve. I'm the resident gemologist. I'm also responsible for admitting new recruits.
A pleasure to meet you, Teve. You certainly have a rather deep voice there, don't you? Could you tell me a little bit more about this guild of yours?
The Archaeology Guild is a peaceful institution dedicated to unearthing the ancient mysteries of Tamriel.
Well, that does slightly intrigue Hadrasil. Of course, he is very fascinated in the Ayleid ruins, and since, of course, his ancestors dabbled in working with the Ayleids and knew about them and saw them in the flesh, it would be quite interesting to uncover their secrets. Perhaps, considering they were worshippers of the Daedra, this could be an interesting venture for Hadrasil. But currently, what he's more concerned with is a warm bed, so he's going to see if he can join the guild simply to get himself a bed for the night, and perhaps afterwards he may be interested in doing some archaeology. But it's obviously not at the forefront of his mind. It's not exactly his main goal here, but could mean a nice warm bed for the night and food. So could you tell me a little bit more about you taking on new recruits?
You are perhaps interested in joining?
Yes, definitely, yes, completely.
Unlike the other guilds, we're small and narrowly specialized. This means all members must be bright, dedicated, and have archaeological experience. You wouldn't happen to be experienced with ancient elven history, would you? Ayleid research is a staple, and Sova's been nagging me to recruit an apprentice for her.
Well, it's not necessarily true that Hadrasil isn't experienced in Ayleid history, but he's probably not as experienced as what Teve is looking for, so no, unfortunately I'm not.
Do you know any ancient languages? Or perhaps you have experience in cartography, geology, or gemology?
Unfortunately, no, not at all.
Well then, I'm afraid we don't just have a position open for a complete greenhorn.
Excuse me, I'm a seasoned adventurer.
So you're good in combat, you say? Well, come to think of it, I may just have some use for you after all. Now, it wouldn't be a full-time position, just one task, but who knows what may come. Are you interested?
Of course, Hadrasil's not quite sure if this means he has a bed for the night, but it could mean more gold, and considering they dabble in ancient relics, they could have quite a lot of it. So, yes, please, by all means, sign me up.
Congratulations. You are now a temporary guild member. You'll be referred to as Tyro. Before I give you your first assignment, I should like to fill you in on the Archaeology Guild's history. And of course, you must get properly acquainted with the entire guild. Here, take this archaeologist's robe. It's a customary gift for new recruits.
Okay, thank you. Well, of course, Hadrasil's not exactly interested in hearing the guild history right now, so I'm rather tired. I'm most probably going to go to bed. If perhaps we could speak about the guild history later.
Farewell.
Goodbye, Teve. You rather deep-voiced Argonian who takes quite some time to get his words out. So, oh hello, seems to be a little bit of a growth issue here. So, apparently Hadrasil went and decided to join the Archaeology Guild. He knows nothing about what they are about, but with any luck, it just means a warm bed for the night. We're not getting lucky so far, but hopefully there is a bed. Ah, sleeping quarters, fantastic. So it seems as though Hadrasil has scored himself a nice bed for the night. Wonderful. This Archaeology Guild could be interesting though, that's for sure. Hello there.
How do you do?
I do quite well. Thank you. So, yes, we can sleep in these beds. Ah, fantastic. Well, Hadrasil's going to tuck into a sweet roll here, because why not? I think he's deserved a little bit of sugar, a bit of sweetness for all of the difficulties he's gone through. He's going to sit down and have a nice, enjoyable drink. And then afterwards he is going to have a nice long sleep, considering it is now 5:24 AM in the morning. But he's feeling quite good in himself. He's achieved quite a lot today. He's gone through not only one cave, or is it an alien ruin? No. He's not only scoured through a old imperial fort, but he has also gone through a cave filled with what manner of creatures one could only imagine. I'm not sure where I was going with that sentence, but he managed to defeat all of the imps and whatnot, and it's probably time that he was going to relax and sleep. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. The game has actually frozen, but I suppose that means I can now say thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for all the comments. I hope you are now relaxed, soothed or asleep. And if so, good night, sleep well. If not, have a lovely day. Enjoy whatever you're doing. And I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye. Thank you for watching.